Hi guys, how you doing? How you doing? I'm so glad Wendy Williams is off the air. She's so hateful. Anyway, so I'm sitting here in my office by myself for the first time in months. It's kind of weird. I'm just so used to having my son underfoot, but it's also nice. I enjoy being by myself. I'm one of those strange people who really revels in their own company, and the thought of having naked Thursdays without issue, sit around totally buck naked as I eat my food and watch Netflix. I just really cannot imagine anything better. So today we're reading a different story. No, I have not finished The Gunslinger. I'm still reading it, but that's slowed down. I have a lot of work to do and I'm just exhausted all the time. And then I am immensely popular with the clientele, regardless of me really trying to push them away. So I'm trying to find a new source of energy so that I can deal with all of them and still do shit that I enjoy. For example, the other day I was reading In Search of Paradise again because I can't remember why I picked it up. Anyway, I picked it up and I read it. Just a few parts, a bit of the beginning and a bit of the end. And I was I'm just continuously impressed with the work, I look at it. It's like the way I look at my son and I think, wow, he came out well. Who did that? That was outstanding work. And it's the same with my books. I'm this is really good. Damn. But I never associate. Okay, so maybe you're the creator, or maybe you're the parent. I never give myself the credit for the work because I don't feel like it's I'm just a conduit maybe for the work. And I was just locked out in having a child whose personality makes him easier to guide, So it has really nothing to do with me and everything to do with him. So I don't know if that's usual. I find a lot of people are always so down on their work. Always do you ever read your work and just want to kill yourself because it's so bad? And I'm never. Just the opposite. I'm always so impressed with my work, with my writing. I'm whoa, who wrote that? Wasn't me. Anyway, so today I'm going to read you a little story. Okay, it's an outtake from In Search of Paradise that I wrote because I have latched onto this new marketing genius idea where I write right now I'm concentrating on In Search of Paradise. So I'm just writing missing scenes from the book, right? So that's my marketing strategy for In Search of Paradise, writing missing scenes because it's enjoyable for me and also for the people that I'm marketing to. There's nothing less enjoyable than telling people, oh, come to my website, click on the link, buy my book or whatever. Or trying to be oh, my book is about it's so interesting. First of all, if you tell me to describe any of my books, my mind goes blank. I have no thoughts. I'm just you should read it. It's really good. But I can't tell you I can't summarize. I cannot summarize any of my books, any of my fan fictions, except maybe Allow It, which is just a crossover between Supernatural and Attack the Block. So, but even that doesn't really describe the fanfic, because it's like, all right, it's different, and I love it. So go read it. Anyway, so yeah, describing books for me, describing my own, like asking me to describe my son. What can I say? He's athletic, but he's super lazy. I don't know. It's just, it's just him. It's Chris. He's like super awesome. And I don't say that like with bias. People have told me that he's super awesome. So anyway, Stranded. That's the first part of this first missing scene. When apocalypse just hits and Anders, Ben, and Zawadi have run away from Nairobi City. By the way, Anders in my head looks like Les Twins. You know Les Twins? They're dancers, yeah? And these Les Twins off and Les Twins on Twitter. Now the one with the Les Twins off, the one with their long hair, I think the other one has dreadlocks. I'm not sure. I don't know. Both of them might have long hair. But anyway, Les Twins off. In my head, I looked at him and I was like, hey, that's Anders. Ben is just like any Kenyan rugby player you can think of. From Colin Zinjera to Humphrey Hayange, name it. Built up Jaluo power, intelligence, might, strength, all of that shit. Okay, he's my built up fantasy rugby player. I love rugby. Zawadi is just a little shit. She's a little sister. She's a little shit. She looks like, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. She's just like any Swahili chick that you come across with the the black buibui, and wearing something really elaborately pink underneath, with their nails done with henna, and meticulously made up. The whole days are occupied with just looking fabulous underneath their buibuis, where absolutely no one is gonna see, but still. So yeah, that's Zawadi. And also she's super protective of Anders as her big brother. They weren't always so close, because obviously their fathers, they have different fathers. And Zawadi blamed Anders for her father leaving for a long time. It's just some backstory. So they weren't close for a long time, but when Anders met Ben and they were going through their shit, people are in the closet here, so more Ben than Anders. So there were a lot of hurtful things which happen when people are in the closet. You're in a relationship and you're in the closet, hurtful things are going to happen, right? So here goes. Stranded. Is this the ghost and the darkness territory? Should we be stopping? Anders glared at his sister. Hatuna fuel. The next petrol station is Sijui. How far away? We have no money. So what do you suggest we do? She peered down at her gauge. Me, my picky has fuel. I can keep going. Fine, go, Ben snapped as he stepped off his bike. Leave your bro. She narrowed her eyes at him. I can carry my bro on my boda. You're the one we can leave. Zawadi! Anders' tone was chiding as he gave her a look. What? It's true. We're not leaving him. Why not? See, he can turn back and go get his girlfriend. She gave Ben a nasty look. So, that's the first part. And if you go to hub pages, my hub pages, at that point, there's a break. Add a link to a blog post where I write about how Ben and his girlfriend met. So the next part is called Argument. He sighed and looked away. Taking a few steps away from his bike, he peered into the long grass. Is it weird that there are no other people nearby? Ben asked. Not if the ghost and the darkness ate them, Zawadi replied at once. You see what I mean about her being a bitch? The ghost and the darkness weren't immortal, which means they're dead. Their grandchildren are alive. I'm sure lions have enough to eat. Remember those zebras we passed a few kilometers back? Anders said, trying to lower the temperature. That's the temperature between his sister and his boyfriend. Either way, we can't just sleep in the middle of the road, and we can't sleep in the bushes. We have to find shelter. Ben turned around and looked at Anders. Zawadi is right. We have to find some shelter. It doesn't have to be a house. If we find a big enough baobab tree, maybe we can climb it. Lions climb trees, Zawadi said at once. Anders rolled his eyes. Suddenly they heard the most unlikely sound. A car engine. Moving off the road, they waited anxiously to see what would appear. They dragged their bikes off the road as they saw the car come into view. It's a probox. Should we try to flag it down? Anders asked. And of course, there's a picture of a probox for those of you who don't know what a probox is. The next part is rescue. Yeah, let's. Zawadi was already stepping onto the road, a baby flapping in the wind. Someone might think you're a genie or a really huge crow. Ben shifted her onto the side of the road. Let me try. Zawadi glared at him but stayed put. Ben began to wave his hands up and down frantically. He saw the moment that the driver saw them. She slowed down a bit, peered at them before she pressed down on the accelerator. No! Ben shouted before throwing himself in front of the car. You can't leave us here. Ben! Anders screamed in fear as the car came to a screeching halt, mere inches from where Ben was standing. Zawadi darted forward and grabbed the passenger door. Unafanya nini? She screamed. Ungemuua! The woman in the driver's seat looked scared. Sina kitu, leave me alone, please. We don't want to steal from you, Ben said, keeping his hand on the car as he circled to her side. Tunahitaji lift too. Please, madam, just to the nearest shelter. Our bikes have issued fuel. The woman was trying to look at all three of them at once. Mom, see you take them with us. Ben jumped as the little face appeared in the window behind the driver's seat. A young boy staring at them, all with wide eyes. His mother looked even more scared. We can help you. More protection. Ben put up his hands. We are good people. My name is Ben Ojamong. This is my friend, Anders Michaelson, and his sister, Zawadi Akasha. We've come from Nairobi. We're looking for somewhere safe. The woman blinked at him a few times, looking uncertain. Please, he said. She sighed with resignation and reached over to unlock the door on the passenger side. Msichana akae nyuma next to Barasa. You, Ben, sit next to me. Your friend sit next to his sister. Ben smiled with relief. Thank you. He hurried over to the other side, urging Azawadi, who was glaring at him again, to enter the car, and then Anders, who was avoiding his eyes. Now what have I done? He sat in the front seat and kept up friendly conversation as the woman drove. She dropped them in front of a mosque. See, here is okay, she asked Ben. She nodded and smiled. He nodded and smiled. Asante sana, Mami. She nodded. They alighted the vehicle and watched her drive away. He turned to Anders. Do you think anyone is still here? Anders shrugged. Zawadi had already started walking towards the building, dragging her bag behind her. Anders began to follow her. Ben hurried to catch up. Yo, Anders, wait! What's up with you? He reached out and wrapped his hand around Anders' arm to keep him from hurrying away. Nothing is up with me. Now, can you let my hand go? Kwani, what did I do? You guys didn't want a lift? Anders just looked at him. I said there's not... I thought one advantage I had with not being interested in chicks is that dealing with this passive-aggressive bullshit. Oh, so now you remember you like guys. Do you sleep with all your friends? Or am I special? Ben blinked at him in confusion before the penny dropped. He expelled a breath, looking away. Look, I wanted to get a lift. Did you want her to give her one more reason to refuse? Is that really why you... Ben stepped closer. What other reason is there? We're in the middle of nowhere. Exactly. Even in the middle of nowhere, I can't be your boyfriend. Ben grabbed Anders' face, cupping his cheeks, and pressed his lips hard against Anders. Anders stiffened before softening in Ben's arms, regardless of how hard Ben was holding him. Their tongues tangled together as Anders' hands came up and closed around Ben's wrists. The kiss went from hard to soft in seconds. Ben made a pained sound inside Anders' mouth, his right hand snaking around Anders' neck and bringing him closer. Their tongues tangled together as they pressed against each other. Ben stepped back, feeling dazed. You're always my boyfriend, whether I call you that or not. I thought you knew that by now. Anders just stared at him. Sometimes it's nice to hear it. That's all, folks. Of course, there's more. I'd been meaning to put like a lot of erotica on there, but sometimes your intentions and what actually makes it to the page differs. Any writer will tell you that. So that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you have questions or comments, write me a voice note. Tools.